You know, sometimes one small change can make a massive difference, like massive difference. For example, I got so tired of bland tasting food. Where's the camera? I got so tired of bland tasting food. And I'm questioning, you know, surely food can't taste like this everywhere in the world. And I'm talking like oranges and tomatoes and things like that, fruits and vegetables and things. I thought it can't taste like this everywhere, surely. It must be wherever it grows, it must at least taste decent there. And obviously you can look into it and realise it's been sprayed and transported in containers and probably ripened in the containers as well. Oh, hang on, we've got a noisy bird. Um, but and I decided that I wanted to eat food that actually tasted decent. You know, tasted, no, not decent, but tasted of the actual food that it's supposed to taste of. The birds are bright yellow. The tasted of the tasted how it's supposed to taste. And that was it, one decision, and I made that decision, and because of that, I ended up moving to Spain. And there was many factors, but I could have chosen any country, and that was one of the deciding factors. That's that country. Okay, here's another one. Many years prior to this, I used to in the days when we used to have holiday brochures before the internet and phones and stuff. I used to collect holiday brochure pics of palm trees and beaches and things like that. And at college, I used to have them pinned up all over my college board. So if people had their timetables and their college briefs and stuff pinned up, I didn't. Mine was plastered with all these pictures of beaches and palm trees and stuff. I suppose you could say it was like my vision board before I knew what a vision board was. And one of my tutors came up to me one day and he said, so you want to go to the Caribbean then, right? He's looking at my board, you know, I'm meant to be working. Well, I'm working. And I went, yeah. And he said, well, you need to get yourself to Gibraltar. I was like, why? And he said, because that's where the boats refuel before leaving the Mediterranean and going across to Gibraltar, to the Caribbean for the season. I'm like, really? He said, yeah, it's the last fuel stop. I mean, I'm like, cars have petrol and fuel and stuff. I didn't really think about boats in those days. I was young and whatnot. And he said, obviously, get there like October kind of time, November kind of time, and there's loads of boats leaving there at that point, and they're often looking for crew. Bearing in mind, I had zero experience on a boat. I was like, yeah, all right, thank you. That was it. One little short conversation, and that changed the whole direction of my life. And there you go. And it was later on, when I left the college, that I then went and caught a flight to Gibraltar to catch a boat. And it changed. It didn't actually leave straight away. I left a year later, but that's another story. But it still changed the course of my life, and I did end up in the Caribbean. So, you know, that's two. What's another one? Smaller one, but a bigger one in a way. Is like one New Year's Eve. I was at home, and my little boy got up, and probably because of the noise of the fireworks and stuff like that going on around, and I was there with my boyfriend at the time, and we were in the lounge, and my little boy got up, and he was like, "Oh, hello," you know. Well, he'd say hello. He's like little. But he wanted to see the fireworks. I said, yeah, sure, we can watch them out of the window. And because it's New Year's Eve, and my boyfriend said, oh, can't he go back to bed? And I was like, what? One small sentence, but what a thing he was really saying. He wasn't just saying, can't he go back to bed? He was saying, can we have our time? I'm more important than he is, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. And it was a sentence that kind of summed up a lot of of stuff beforehand and big build-up beforehand. And I'm like, no. So I picked my little boy up, and I went, yeah, sure you can. I turned around to my boyfriend and said, you've got to go. He was like, what? I said, you've got to go. And I don't think he believed me, because I went in the kitchen and we made a drink. Came back and he wasn't in the lounge. When I went upstairs, he was on the bed, laying down on the bed, like, I suppose thinking. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm thinking. I said, about what? He said, you didn't really mean that, did you? And I went, yeah, because you meant it. I went, yeah. He was off you go. He packed a bag and he left. By 15 minutes to midnight, my little boy and I were staring out a huge bay window looking at the view over the city with the fireworks in the sky, feeling, oh my gosh, so relieved. And if I hadn't have made that decision, that teeny tiny small decision right there and then, our lives could have gone in a very different direction. So my question to you today is, what small change can you make that could change the trajectory of your life? Okay, think on that one.